Hey, this is Prometheus giving you This Week in Madden, February 14th, 2021, guys. Got 4 channels. Once again, I'm going to feature. This is going to be all defense, man. We're gonna have some easy setup blitzes. We're going to have some man coverage, and then we're also going to have user. I want you to stick around to the very end because I've got a video from a YouTuber I just stumbled on, and he talks about how you can get more user picks. So make sure you stick around. But got some good blitzes to show you, some good defenses to show you. Let's go and jump into this right now. All right, so the first video that we're going to show you is from WinMadden. I've shown him, I've actually highlighted his channel before in the past. Real good content, good speaking abilities. This guy is very articulate, and he talks about the meta defense, what a lot of the pros are using, and the simple setup to actually use this particular defense. And this, I would say, this is a good base defense to run against your opponent in the first quarter, just to figure out how your opponent likes to play on offense and what type of routes and stuff like that they want to use, and just challenge to see if they work. So let's go ahead and take a look at this man defense setup that WinMadden posts.
Okay, so today we're going to cover how to make your defense even better. I'm going to essentially supercharge your one-step ahead defense, and then tomorrow I'm going to tell you how to counter it and absolutely torch it. So almost everybody in the MCS is running this style of defense, so it's really important that you know how to do it, A, and then B, how to counter it. Again, we're going to cover that tomorrow. So on offense, I'm going to come out and flood. It's one of those typical man-beating plays you see at a gun bunch. It's really good, but on defense, I'm going to come out in another meta formation. You can run this out of any formation, but I'm going to use nickel 3-3-5 odd, and I'm going to do cover 2 man. Now, nickel 3-3-5 odd is very good because it has a really unique blitz out of it that you can literally send 2 people and get heat, but I've got a whole other video on that too. Just go through YouTube, you'll find it. But again, on defense, I'm going to do something really simple here. First, I'm going to press, and then I'm going to shade underneath. Now that seems really odd to a lot of people. That's kind of a Madden sin. You never shade underneath because you're going to get torched all over the field. But with one-step aheads in this year's man coverage, it actually locks down almost everything. So what I want to show here is, again, we only have one step ahead on the field. We've got Stephon Gilmore on the right side, so he's going to be guarding our RB route. But I do want to show how good this is even without one-step aheads. So B is who I want you to focus on here. And B is it's a very typical crossing route. You're going to see a lot of people go into crossing routes to try to beat man coverage, and look what he does against it. Like, initially that B player gets open, but then that defender gets like a little bit of a speed boost and like catches up to him a third of the way through the route. And then once we throw it, he's actually absolutely boxed, and he gets a pick even. So really interesting how this shaded underneath coverage works and how effective it is. Now on the left side of the screen, you can see that our defender actually does get beat. We could have thrown a low ball there, and we could have hit that to Mike Evans. But again, that defender does not have one step ahead. If he has one step ahead, that could be a different story. And on the right side of the field here, you can see Stephon Gilmore literally runs the route for our defender. He beats him to the cut. And if that defender has one step ahead and acrobat, there's a 50-50 chance, even if you lowball that it's going to get picked off. So this is absolutely going to supercharge your defense, especially if you keep 2 deep safeties on the field to take away anything deep. Now, I do want to show this against, I want to show a crossing route against actually a one-step ahead player. So I'm going to put B, who's Antonio Brown, on a crossing route, and I'm going to have him go up against Stephon Gilmore, who's on the right side of the field. So I'm not going to motion over Antonio Brown here, and you're going to see just what this one step ahead against one of the more man-beating principles is going to do. So I'm going to have to get a couple people out of the way here just to give myself a little bit of room, but you can see I put B on a crossing route. I'm going to put our X receiver on a streak. I'm going to put A on a streak too, so our tight end's going to go on a streak, and I'll block our running back here real quickly. But I just want to show you, again, with actual one-step aheads on here, how good this defense is. Like, he's not even close to open, and we've got that absolutely locked down. So the other thing that you're going to want to consider is well, first of all, just this defense in general is definitely going to win you some games if you start getting sheds on the offense or on the defensive line. Like, it's going to drive people nuts. There's going to be like nothing open. You're going to have a user defender in the middle of the field that's just going to be able to kind of take away anything that's like a motion slant or something like that. So this is the way to run one step ahead defense right now. And the pros are using it. You see it all over the MCS. And if you want to run man, this is how to do it.
If you guys have been following this series that I've been doing every Sunday, you probably think I have a love affair for Zan. he just puts out some of the best videos in Madden, hands down. Here's another quick, easy blitz setup. Only takes a couple setups, and it actually dumbs out the offensive line. Great defense to actually have in your back pocket. It's just going to give your opponent a different look. So let's go ahead and jump into this quick
Okay, guys,
breakdown.
without further ado, let's get into today's video. We're going to be breaking down the strong safety Reno zone flipped. This is a blitz that we are going to set up that is a 5-man pressure that will completely dumb out a 5-man blocking scheme. As you guys know, Madden 21 is a 5-out game. In particular, you're going to be facing a lot of one step ahead, a lot of drop zone with Mabel, a lot of different coverages that, you know, rush 2 or 3 people. So most players are going to, you know, send their running back and their tight end out on routes. Let's go ahead and break this down. All we are going to do is crash our defensive line down and take this blitzing linebacker and put him into a spy. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to hit the strafe button pre-snap. And what that's going to do is that's going to occupy the center. And when the ball snapped, I'm going to kind of glide towards the left guard. And what that's going to do is dumb him out, freeing up Delpit through the B gap. And this is going to generate really smooth B gap pressure along with some great edge rushing angles. So you're going to see here as I kind of do this here, how that player dumps out. That allows me to kind of recover back over the middle. Now, obviously, this is best done from a cover 2 shell. You notice that it is a rolled coverage with the safety dropping over to the left when the safety drops down into the box, and then off the backside, the nickel corner goes into the other safety position. You could definitely get a little bit more hybrid with this if you wish. You know, you could go ahead and kind of rotate, you know, this guy back into a middle third. You know, you could go ahead and Mabel on this side. That would allow you with your user to kind of go over towards the left side of the field and take away some of these shorter in cuts as well. You know, that's something that is your prerogative here on this. But in general, when this ball snaps, hold strafe, kind of glide over towards left guard and then lurk the field. And you see that you've got those in routes covered. You know, depending on the route combination, you might obviously check into other things. You know, if somebody wants to run corner routes and then have like a little baby hitch on the outside, that smash concept is definitely something that could cause a little bit of issues, but you know, you adjust your zone depths accordingly and you're going to be in pretty good shape. Let's say for whatever reason you want to be able to use her on the right side of the field with this play. The nice thing about this is you got this cross vert hook that's going to go over towards the left side, allowing you to really gear your attention towards the tight end side in that regard. So ball snapped here, you can kind of glide over towards the guard, get back and kind of cover the middle. If there's a hook to a tight end, an angle route to a running back, that's really the goal of that particular zone setup. So you see that this is, you know, while a very generic blitz, it is somewhat flexible. You know, it's definitely not the most flexible coverage in the game plan we're going to have.
So this is a little bit more of established YouTube channel. It's VENM Fire, and actually shows you an old 46 defensive setup to get looping pressure with your defensive back. So this is a good defense if you like to use a very heavy defensive back type of formation setup. But also have a very intimidating front against the run. This is a very simple setup. It's like three steps real quick that you can set the splits up. And it's for someone that likes to wait for plays to develop or they like to scramble out. It's a really good defense to have in your back pocket. So here's another defense that we're going to share with you that's non-meta.
The player we're running is going to be Fire Zone 3, so just go ahead, come out in that. And again, you can have auto flip on if you choose to. I'm just going to be running this out of gun trips tight end. Let's go with a basic double and sail setup. As far as the setup I'm going to run, we're just going to run like a little basic setup, something like this. Now, hopping into the setup, it's a relatively simple blitz setup, and I'll start out with just showing the blitz, then we'll hop into some of the ways to do your backside adjustments. Now, first things first, if you want to press your defensive backs, you don't have to, but if you want to press your defensive backs, pretty much you're going to have to press it right now before you do any other adjustments. So I can just press if I want to. That has to be my first adjustment. If I'm not going to press, then that's not a concern, but if you want to, if you're a player that likes to press, that's something you got to do right off the bat. And so we will do that. Now, setting up the blitz, all it takes is 2 adjustments. I see that my blitzing safety or cornerback is off that right side. So all I have to do is spread my defensive line, and I'm just going to crash or slant my defensive line to the side of the blitzing linebacker. So again, it's blitzing off the right, so I just slant to the right here, and overall that is it. Now, again, this isn't necessarily a 100% guaranteed blitz. Sometimes some weird stuff happens with the blocks. but it is very, very solid in my opinion. So we'll just go ahead and snap the ball here, and you will see Apke. Now this time it didn't work. It didn't work that time. I'm just going to set up very quickly. I mean, it was working very well when I was labbing it, so I'm just going to set up very briefly here. Again, just shift up and slant to the right. We'll just run it stock here, but yeah, this is the animation that you want where Apke kind of loops through. Now that even wasn't super clean animation. Usually when you're blitzing him off the edge, you kind of want him to loop around the right tackle, but sometimes he will go in between the right end and that right defensive tackle. That happens. I'll just set it up again very briefly, just give you guys some reps on the blitz, show how everything works. Again, here he's going to loop around, and that's the animation that you want overall. Now you'll see throughout the video when I'm running this, Derek Carr is going to break some sacks. That's just because Apke's at 64 overall, but yeah, this is the best way to run it. You saw those first couple of times. That first time it didn't work, and I believe pressing sometimes causes some problems. I personally never really press when I'm running this blitz. But it has worked for me when I have pressed before. But yeah, taking a look, this is the animation that you want, where pretty much he's just going to loop around. Now this even wasn't super clean because he kind of tags up on a right end right there, but you see he's able to loop around. It's relatively quick, and it's very difficult to block, obviously, as well. So very good. Again, we'll go over some bluff blitz options a little bit later, but it's just overall a unique blitz. A lot of people don't like to run all the meta stuff, 3-3-5 wide every single game, all game. This is a good combination. There's some good man coverage out of this, kind of unique. You can get a safety at that linebacker spot if you wanted to, and overall there's some unique pressures that you can bring off the edge. So yeah, I'll show the blitz just a couple more times, and we'll hop into some of the ways that I can get it, and you actually can put some of your defensive linemen in zones, which I'll talk about later. But yeah, again, just spread your D-line and slant to the right. We'll go ahead again, just snap the ball briefly, and that time that was the animation that would always happen in Madden 18, where he's going to loop in that inside gap. If you didn't know, Madden 18, Madden 19, very good with those looping blitzes. And this was the animation that happened every single time in Madden 18. You would see Apke, he's going to loop around. You saw the previous attempt, he looped around the right, but because Montez Sweat got a good push here, I believe this is going to be the cause. And you see he's just able to loop around. This is very quick pressure as well. Especially with that 94 speed, you see routes.
All right, finally, we have CoachDC 404, and he's got a YouTube channel that's basically on par with mine as far as number of subscribers. I never knew this guy existed. I didn't know he was out there. I just stumbled on him today as I was just looking for some additional content for this video, and he posted by far one of the best videos on how to use her. The simple thing that you have to do to use her, and he actually shows gameplay of him, you know, getting interceptions left and right. It's the mechanics, the finger mechanics, the thumb mechanics of actually going ahead and picking off more balls, and it's so easy. It's worth going into the lab right now and testing it. So let's go ahead and jump into this video, and just now you're going to learn how to be able to be better at user.
A little technique that I use, you know, the defensive assist button, which is the L1 on PlayStation, LB on the Xbox, and there's a lot of misconceptions about the defensive assist button. I think people turn it off because they think it's like this super help thing, and it's really not. It's really supposed to be used sparingly. I think once we learn that we could just hold buttons and just run around the field and do it, I think that's probably one thing that probably ruined Madden. I mean, it just ruined a lot of things because, you know, even for catching, people just run around and hold a catch button and think that it's just supposed to happen. So what we're going to try to do today is I'm going to try to explain to you guys how to do this thing where, you know, when the ball is in the air or while you're usering how to attack the ball. A lot of times, you know, I talk to guys on Twitter and group me and everywhere, and they say, Coach, why do my guys just stand there and the ball's right there? You know, and a lot of it is how we approach the ball. You know, by just hitting the ball hawk alone, most of the time you are going to get your guys to actually animate to the football. But now it just seems like whatever the bots or whatever the world is controlling Madden is just like guys just stand there and just watch the ball. And even sometimes you you'll see an AI defender make a better play than the user. All right, so how this is done is basically instead of just hitting the ball hawk button, you are going to start to hit the L1 or LB button in conjunction with the ball hawk at the same time. Yeah. So when you go for the pick, so watch me cut off the route here. I'm already anticipating the route. That's L1 and triangle. Yeah. It's really that simple. It's just as simple as adding another step to when you go for a pick. And I tell you, the results are crazy. I mean, just watch. If you're sitting here watching this video, just watch me. Patience, sit in the hole, see the route, and that's what it does. It's almost like it creates, along with the ball hawk, it creates a better, more aggressive animation to the football, as the ball arrives, if you're able to time it out. Now, that's key. This is not something you do not want to run around the field holding the L1 or LB. That is the reason why it just seems like it doesn't work. Because basically what you're doing is you're putting yourself in an animation. Yeah. So if you're able to move around a little bit and get within the vicinity of the ball, then, if you're able to hit the ball hawk and also, the L1 or LB at the same time, then like I said, I guarantee you, you'll come back in the comments today as soon as you do this for the first time, and you'll say, hey, coach, yeah, that's that. And I actually talked about this on 20 before. So for a lot of my new subscribers or, people that are kind of new to the channel, that weren't here with us in 20, this is not really a new technique. This is old for me, but I mean, the game is ever evolving and ever changing. So, we just got to kind of stay up on things, as they come out, kind of like a CoachDC update. Yeah. You don't have to download this one. Even with the the outside linebacker right there. Look at the change in direction by Big Shaq Lawson. Yeah. And you saw him actually go for the pick. You're going to start to see these guys reach out for the ball. You're going to start to see these guys get it at the top of the jump. Look at that change of direction. There's the reach right there. And that's me hitting the ball hawk and the L1 or LB at that particular time. So, like, again, as I said, there is a timing aspect to it. Especially with these users, y'all have seen this one, man. My boy Wingard, watch. I mean, watch him go for the pick. Watch this. Reach. Yeah. It's a timing thing. It's like you are actually catching the ball yourself. Yeah. Figure that out.
All right, so guys, this concludes This Week in Madden. Once again, if you liked some of the tips from these YouTube channels, I'm going to go and list it down in the notes. I'll feature these 4 on the top of all the different channels that are featured in This Week in Madden. If you do go to their channels to subscribe, let them know that I sent you their way. And also, if you are a YouTuber, you have your own YouTube channel, and you want to be featured in one of these videos, go ahead, let me know, send me a message, and then send me a video that you want me to take a look at, and I can include that. So to everybody, thank you for your support. If you do like these type of videos, go ahead and put thumbs up, and also make your comments down below. So once again, I really appreciate your support. Until next time.